But while we're on the topic of London and podcasting, that entire Shits and Gigs thing was happening while we were out there, like in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was just jet lag or just
so
pure not caring at all. When I got home, I caught up on all this shit.
We had heard about it while we was there, but it was still kind of like, happening in real time, and we didn't know. And the people in London was telling us like, they're being canceled right now.
Do you remember how we initially found out? I don't know if they kept it in the Kenny All-Star show. So we're doing the show. I have my sunglasses on. They're like, oh, what type of podcast do you guys listen to out here? And Maul went, Shits and Gigs. The whole room went, ooh.
Really? Oh, damn.
That's so whack.
That's so.
Then I had to look at the timeline and be like, hey, maybe edit that out.
That's so funny.
It was just bad timing. Like, I really didn't know exactly what was happening. But
yeah, that would have been the podcast. I would have, before all of this happened, I would have told y'all to like cross-pollinate with out there.
No,
I've
cross-pollinate
a couple times.
Yeah, no.
They were down. They just scheduling. Last time we were in London, we were going to set it up. They weren't available. They were out of town.
Oh, but because you wasn't there, you didn't like...
Well, I think we may have dodged a bullet.
You guys
would have been a bad week to do it.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
Honestly, probably would have been the best week to do it.
I mean, I would have defended black women.
Well, we know where you stand on
it. It would have been you versus the room.
You and Peach versus the room.
Here's my biggest issue with Andrew Schulz. It's not what he said. It's that he did this after.
I don't know why you just did that, but that was crazy.
The Rory at the BBC.
Day 129.
Why would you do that?
Because why would Schulz do it?
I don't know, but I don't know why.
I couldn't get past what he was saying about black women because he just kept bouncing in his chair like it was the funniest thing he'd ever said in his life.
Though. That's like probably like a nervous twitch or something.
But you can't. It's like you can't control yourself type of thing. You're trying to contain your.
Because it was the jokes were just that funny.
It was just off the wall. Everything was off the rails in there.
Women nag.
Too funny.
I just want to know if the guys from Shits and Gigs realize the name of their show is Shits and Gigs. Like, what else are you supposed to do on a podcast but kick the shit and laugh?
No, but that's not. You're missing the point. They're supposed to be serious.
Now, I will say, I did see what Andrew
Gigs. They're supposed to be the mouthpiece of equality,
comedy.
Now, I did see what Andrew Schulz said. I did see the jokes he said. Now, I don't think his jokes call for him or anyone to be canceled.
Well, I mean, give the people some backstory. So I'm not going to repeat them because clearly it offended.
Well, Andrew Schulz made a reference to men losing their hair because they were being stressed out by their black girlfriends. Am I right, Demaris? Was that the gist of the joke?
Well, there's more context.
The more context was the black girlfriend effect. The black girlfriend effect is when people.
Now, this is a new term. I've never heard this before.
It started with like
because you wouldn't hear it because you're black. So this is
so this is like outside of the black.
Yes.
When black
I initially
women
thought they were making fun of Charlemagne's network at first.
It's when black women date white guys, and all of a sudden these white guys that were like lame or whatever get a glow up. They get like the fade, a buzz cut, or like get a nice beard all of a sudden, and all of a sudden they know how to dress.
Yeah.
So Schulz was like, okay, then what's the inverse of that? What's the black what happens when you date a black woman? And then it became like they stress you out, you have to grow a beard because they'll slap you in the face, or like your hair starts falling out. That was the premise of it.
Okay, so
hilarious. Aren't you laughing?
I mean, whatever. But I don't think that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. But I don't think that calls for anybody to be canceled because of saying that. That's just
them getting canceled for not saying anything is crazy.
But
they were laughing along, and
they laughed. It's Shits and Gigs.
Dude, they were in shock. They were fucking.
Well, they were Shits and Gigs. They was giggling.
No, they were in shock. Remember, Maul? That's what they said.
Oh, now let's get to the apology because now that's where I think they
fight or flight.
That's where they deserve to be canceled because of that apology.
It was so bad.
They started referencing, it was like fight or flight while we were sitting there. It's like, don't do that. I get it now. And then to find out that episode is old. And like this is now them putting out the apology now. Like
it's like 2 months later.
I really thought this was all happening last week.
No. So let me give y'all some background because this is off the rails. So the reason why this old episode is being brought up as evidence against them is because they went on Poor Minds. Shout out to Lex and Drea. They went on Poor Minds and they said to Lex and Drea that they've been in Atlanta. I don't know whether it was a couple hours, couple days, whatever, and that they had seen no baddies in Atlanta. Now, if you've ever been to Atlanta and you like black women, you know that is a red flag because they're everywhere. Maul, have you ever been to Atlanta and seen no baddies?
No.
The people working in the airport.
It's never happened.
They were talking to two of them.
Yeah, I don't. That part is with. I don't.
That
I just
makes no sense, right?
Part.
Red flag.
Even if but here's the thing. Even if you say you don't date black women, right? Your preference, whatever. you can still see a woman and say, damn, she's bad. You may not want to date her because that's not your type of woman.
Or
but
racist.
But she's bad. She's a beautiful. You can't say that there's no bad women in Atlanta. That is the craziest shit I think I've ever heard. There's no bad women in Atlanta?
So I didn't
What does that even mean?
see that episode. Were they saying it like just for conversational
Shits and gigs.
starter?
No, he meant it. By
Like-
the way, they also said that there were baddies in Seattle, though.
Ooh, that's where all the heroin hoes are at.
All right. Now,
Okay,
I like
things,
these-
things are
Saying
adding up
Seattle
a
is
bit.
crazy.
I like these gentlemen.
Seattle is crazy.
Much success to them, cool. But now we might have to get these niggas out of here. You can't say there's no baddies in Atlanta and say
We
the
did
baddies
find a
in
couple
Seattle.
in Seattle, though, actually.
They were from Vancouver though.
Ah, that's right. Never mind.
Like-
they were Canadian.
Where were you at in Seattle where you saw baddies, but in Atlanta you didn't see any? I just don't understand.
And I'm not saying that there aren't baddies in Seattle.
Oh no, it's beautiful women in Seattle for sure.
Like there's no way Sir Mix-a-Lot would come up with those genius records if he wasn't looking at baddies.
Exactly.
But to then be like, nah, not on Atlanta.
Yeah,
Have you been to Starbucks?
yeah, that's a little weird.
Have you seen Frasier?
Now, their apology, I can understand people being mad at because it's like, all right, now y'all talking about fight or flight, and we just wanted to get out of there, and it's like, cut the shit, man. Cut the shit. You niggas was not gonna post this apology if this backlash didn't. And that's the problem I have with people posting apology videos.
Which is why they never should have posted one.
Exactly.
Because this is disingenuous.
It's like it's not real. You don't mean it. You only posting this because you feel like this is damage control, and people on your team are telling you like, "Yo, the internet is up in arms about this Schulz episode, and we have to do something." If they were gonna say something, they could have been like, "Listen, it was jokes." Just stand on the side of it was jokes. Now, if you were offended, it wasn't intended to be, an offensive thing. It's just guys, shits and gigs, having a conversation, cracking jokes.
literally
laughing.
called shits and gigs.
But they can't. Okay, so this is the thing. This is the reason why this is such a big deal, right? Because men on podcasts has been saying disparaging shit about Black women since podcasts have existed.
Women on podcasts have been saying disparaging shit about
Okay, my point. Men on podcasts have been saying disparaging shit about Black women. That's nothing new. The issue is who their fan base is. Shits and Gigs is the one podcast that when all the women sit up here and say, take the mics away, burn the mics, burn down B&H, everybody always says, from what I know with Black women, because I'm one of them, except for the two in it. We always say, except for the two in it.
Y'all just like their accent.
No, I actually hate people with that accent. I told y'all that. I hate that fucking accent.
In it.
I hate that accent. It has nothing to do with that. It's just they pander. They've always pandered outside of like their old episodes. Once Black women started liking them, they started pandering and they were like the cool, like non-toxic, like two men on podcasts. That's what they got known for. So now all of this is coming out and it's spitting on their image. If you two said that or if another podcast said that, it wouldn't be such a big deal. But being that it's them and who their main fan base is, the majority of their fan base is Black women, yeah, they had to apologize. Now, granted, they should have hired a PR agent to write a better apology
Or they should have just been.
because that one was awful, but they should have apologized.
Or they should have just been honest in their apology. You don't need to hire a PR person to be honest. Just be honest. Well, there was jokes. We were laughing.
No,
like,
you
what
should
is the-
always be honest, Maul.
You don't think they were being honest with the fight or flight in that moment?
Nothing about their faces said they were ready to run out of there.
No.
Nothing
Well,
about
the
their
thing
faces.
that in Schulz joked throughout, so on the most recent episode of Flagrant, they played their apology and Schulz tore it apart and like just kind of they did a reaction to it
As
on
he
the show.
should.
The main thing he did say though is said, hey, by the way, after we recorded, they did have a few edits and things they wanted to remove from the episode. This was not one of them.
Exactly.
So
It was.
you knew he was just going to shoot yourself in the foot if you were going to try to shit on Schulz and they were planning on just blaming him for that whole situation. He's like, well, fuck you guys. You never wanted to edit this out in the first place. You guys were okay with it the entire time.
And that's the problem with the apology is that you can tell like they are not being honest about how they felt. They were not in fight or flight mode. It wasn't none of that. Like, it's just like
Fight or flight is so dramatic. You could have just said
just
it was a nervous laugh. Like I just laughed like it was a nervous laugh. Because people had that same critique, for example, with Will Smith, where they said, well, Will Smith laughed at Chris Rock's joke before Jada gave him a look. And I'm like, no, he probably laughed at it some people just laugh automatically when they know that somebody's telling a joke and don't really internalize it. And then 5 seconds later, you're like, wait, what the fuck did you just say? You could have said that, but fight or flight, you were not in fight or flight. You could have just said it was a nervous giggle or something like that.
I'm not excusing their laughter to Schultz's jokes, but I will ask, what were they supposed to do in that time? Like stop Schulz and be like,
no, but you
that's
can. There's a
racist.
way to laugh and be like,
It
yo,
should
chill,
cut
like, yo,
out.
relax.
that's
like,
a
yo,
little,
even in
like,
that
yo,
one
that's a
nigga's
little, like,
reaction in the
damn, that's a
moment,
little
they
crazy.
could've-
maybe
Yeah.
make a joke about white women to
Yeah.
balance it out. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't violate the black. Like you could have still made it funny and not made it uncomfortable.
They could even say, yeah, sometimes the sisters stress us out, but we love them. And it's something
Yeah.
like that.
Or like, I can tell by
Like-
your mustache you don't like women.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
See, that type of shit.
you ate.
But this right here, like
First,
Off the
first
dome.
eat.
the
Yeah.
first
That's what he does.
twice he did that.
7+1.
Please stop bouncing.
How you
on it.
uneat?
Twice.
Yeah.
He threw up.
That's not funny to y'all that Schulz
regurgitated.
does that. I find it so funny.
No, it's nasty that you doing it.
Never
So-
mind. Ignore me.
Yeah, they're idiots. But this.
Don't put that on.
No, they are.
They made a mistake.
No, they made another mistake when they put that apology.
The
out.
mistake is the apology.
yeah.
That's the mistake.
The main
apology
mistake is
video-
saying ain't no baddies in Atlanta. That was the mistake because
Well, I'm
you
with the
told on
cancellation.
yourself.
Well, that's
You
I'm-
told on yourself.
yeah. I'm with you on that.
You
It's time
told
to-
on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, they might be time to get them out of here with that comment.
But this is the thing, and people are like, oh, they don't deserve to be canceled for jokes. What people need to understand is not everything is them being canceled. But when you have a black woman fan base and they feel like black women are not your preference and they no longer want to listen to you, they have that right. Don't piss off your fan base. That's not you being canceled. Nobody's saying to take their deal away and not have them be able to podcast. They're just saying, oh, with all of these things combined, I don't like the comments that you've been okay with going around about black women. I'm a black woman that listens to your podcast. I will remove myself from your Patreon and giving you money because you think it's funny when white men who don't date black women make jokes about us. I'm just going to remove my money and my support. That's not canceling. That's not canceling.
Actually, that's the truest form of canceling. to be
Yeah, you
quite
cancel
honest.
your subscription.
But that's not calling for a mass canceling.
Of course,
that's just
yeah.
like, I don't fucks.
Yeah.
Can't be mad at that.
No, you can't be mad at
But
it.
you said you liked them because they pandered to black women. But isn't that, do you prefer that? Like a pander?
I don't watch that.
Not
but
you
I'm saying,
particularly, but I'm
yeah.
saying like if they have a fan base that is black women and we're aware that they just pander towards what black women want to hear, isn't that more offensive? I find that more offensive. Don't just tell me what I want to hear and then profit off it.
It's a pander now because everything's coming out that's kind of pointing. I can't speak for facts. I don't know them. It's pointing to, oh, you don't actually like black women. That's what it's pointing to, right? So before, people don't know that it's a pander. You don't know that it's a pander because it doesn't appear
Under
to
the
be a pander.
assumption that it was genuine.
Under the assumption that it was genuine. And then all of these things stack up and it's like, it's looking a little funny in the light.